Again with another MLB play of the day. I'm actually going to switch it up a little bit and do a full slate breakdown. There's no golf this week, so got a little bit extra time today to break down this full MLB 8-game slate. You can kind of try to take some ideas what my process is, and then kind of apply them to your own to hopefully become a better player. What I like to do when breaking down any MLB slate is starting at the pitching position. Tonight we have Carrasco, Garrett Cole, Tanaka, Gio Gonzalez, and a bunch of kind of, mediocre, lower price guys. Starting at the top, one of the big decisions that you're going to have to make tonight is going to be Garrett Cole versus Carlos Carrasco. Garrett Cole, the matchup is a little tougher against the Angels, but he's just been absolutely crushing it since coming over to the Astros. If we can look at his strikeout numbers, 11, 11, 14, and 5 this season. So pretty good. But if we look at kind of going back further with Garrett Cole, this isn't a guy who's been this super elite pitcher that he has been up until this point. Now, he's 28 years old. He could be coming into his own. But I think in tournaments, it makes a lot of sense to kind of see that, to go away from Cole and hope that he regresses to some of the mean a little bit for how he's been throughout his entire career. When you look at Carrasco here at Baltimore, Baltimore is one of the highest strikeout teams in the league. Corey Kluber yesterday kind of let us down a little bit. I think he only had 4 strikeouts against this Orioles team. But if you look at Carlos Carrasco, last year he pitched against the Orioles once, put up 33 DraftKings points, had 10 strikeouts. I think he's my top pitching option today at 11,700 on DraftKings. So I think Carrasco, he's going to be a guy you definitely want to get into your tournament teams, lock into cash games as well. And there's a ton of other decent pitching options. A guy I like actually is Chris Stratton against the depleted Nationals. If we take a little bit deeper dive into Stratton, he's been pitching great this season, kind of on a little bit of a heater. Now, the problem with him is he's not a super high strikeout guy. He had 8 in his last game, but he's at a great price. And, other than Bryce Harper, this Nationals lineup doesn't really hit right-handed pitching particularly great. So I think he's another guy you can look at if you want to save some salary relief at your SP2 position. On FanDuel, you definitely don't need to go there. Kind of look at Carrasco, Cole, Tanaka, Gonzalez as your pitcher over there. So now jumping over into the hitters. I like to really start under the games tab. This kind of gives a great overview of the slate. You have all the over-unders, the totals here. You can see there's a Coors game tonight, 11 over-under. That's going to be a popular spot tonight. Someone who I like there is David Dahl at 2,800 on DraftKings. He's going to be a great option coming off of, he was injured all of last season, but he's a really talented player. Hits right-handed pitching pretty well, too, against Brian Mitchell. But you can look on the other side of this game, too. Chad Bettis is an interesting tournament play at 7,500. If we take a look at him at home, pitches okay, but this Padres offense is a super high strikeout team. But if you want to look at the Padres, Christian Villanueva at 4,000 on DraftKings, pretty interesting. If we look at Villanueva a little bit further, just been mashing the ball this season. Averages a plus minus of 75%. Really has home run upside, double dong upside. Let's check him out against righty starters this season. Met value 56% of the time. Has a couple duds in there. But in tournaments, I think Christian Villanueva is a decent option. Looking at some other teams to take a look at tonight, the Yankees have a 4.5 run total against Jake Odorizzi playing at home. Great hitters park. All those guys are in play. The A's, over 5 run total against Matt Moore in a hitters park in Texas. Looks like the wind is going to be blowing out there a little bit. All these guys are in play. Marcus Semien at shortstop, 3,400. That's one of my favorite plays of the entire slate. The Mariners are in a great spot. Miguel Gonzalez actually just now got scratched, so they're going to have spot start a guy, and then they have a terrible bullpen behind them. They're going to be one of the most popular stacks of the night. And then you have the Astros against Tyler Skaggs, a lefty. And you look at how many right-handed batters this projected Astros lineup is going to roll out. That's going to be tough for Skaggs. And I think you're going to be able to get them at a little bit lower ownership than teams like the Yankees, like the A's, like the Mariners, and then obviously less than the Coors guys. So I think that's another good spot to look at. Another area that I like to go when researching MLB is this research tab. I'm a big believer in kind of hot streaks in baseball, both cold and hot streaks can really work both ways, and I really like looking at this for hitters. You can see what their WOBA is over the last 50 at bats, and even more importantly, I think you can see how the opposing pitcher, is doing against that handiness of batter over his last 50 times facing them. You can see David Dahl up here at the top. Now, he's missed this last season. Just his first game back, I think he hit a double in that game, or he had an RBI. And that's going to inflate his WOBA, obviously. So, sometimes when you get inflated WOBAs like that, you have to kind of look a little bit deeper. But guys like Charlie Blackmon, 455 in his last 50 at-bats, going up against a 356 that Cahill is going to throw out there. That's a great spot. You can see the run totals here. And you can really find cheap guys this way, too. Kind of scrolling down, Mark Canha, a 300 WOBA in his last 50 at-bats. That's not too bad for 3,100. Great spot there. You can make him a cheap part of your A's exposure as well. When it comes to stacks and roster construction, go here to the stacks and groups page, stacks research. I think my favorite stack of the night is going to be in Oakland. So if we type in Oakland here, you have kind of all the options. What's trending, I would definitely check back on that around 6:30. You'll get a better idea of ownership, ceiling. So in tournaments, you can take some chances here on, say, a 3, 4, 6 stack of Lowry, Davis, and Olsen, and that's the second highest projected ceiling out of any of these guys. So that's something that you can certainly look at as well. So that just kind of gives some of my beginning thoughts on tonight's MLB slate. You can find me on Twitter at DFSBenj. Happy to answer any of your questions. And be sure to use the RotoQL tools that we have. It's been on fire to start this MLB season, and I hope everyone is using them to their advantage.